Hello and welcome to Pembroke High School, home of the Pembroke Titans, as they will take on the Middleborough Sackhams in today's final game of the season in a non-conference game against a team situated 30 minutes outside of Pembroke. As you can see on the court, we have just wrapped up the JV game between the Titans and the Sackhams, with the Sackhams getting a 6-point victory, winning 37-31. It was a good game from both sides, and the Sackhams showed their better quality as a team and overall as they extend their winning streak. But that's enough for the JV game. Now we're going to move on to the varsity game. This game is unfortunately the end of the road for the Titans. With a record that is not so pretty, it's like the first time Gordon Ramsay ever baked a cake, it wasn't so pretty. They have been officially knocked out of playoff contention, and therefore the final game, a non-conference game against Middleborough, Middleborough is a town in England. Middleborough, they will try and finish their season on a high with the seniors of Kirsten Deneen, Kylie Deneen, and Emma Ledger trying to get a win in their final ever high school game. As both teams come onto the court to get ready and get their warm-ups, we have about, I'd say, 10-ish minutes before the lineups and tip-off is underway. Heading into this game, I've done extensive research on both of these teams. Obviously, I know a little bit more about Pembroke. I've commentated about them all season, so I know a little bit more about them. So I guess I will start with the home team. For the Pembroke Titans, coming off a loss in their last game against Scituate, away from home by a score of 57-40, with less than impressive shooting stats, shooting 27 from the floor, 23% from beyond the arc, and only 53% from the free throw line. They will need to maybe put a little extra work tonight. They were very sloppy in their last home game. Although the game against Scituate was away from home, they did not show very much fight. I was watching some of the highlights, and it just looked like they were just going through the motions, kind of like the Seattle Kraken at the beginning of their NHL season. For them, I think that high percentage shots is something that they've been not able to create so much. They haven't been able to play through their stars. Obviously, one of them has been injured for most of the season, that being Kylie Deneen. She has had an injury that has kind of knocked her out of contention for playing all year. I do not know exactly her injury, as I have not been able to get the chance to convene with the player and ask her exactly what it is. But she shows no external injuries, but I do not want to speculate, just out of respect for her. But as I was saying, Pembroke have not been able to play through their stars for many of the games, as teams coming to play Pembroke kind of figure out who they want to play through. And usually that's between the junior captain, Deanna Linscott, and the senior captain, Kirsten Deneen. The two tall girls down low trying to make a difference for the team. As you can see, they're right here in front of the camera doing their left-handed layups. They have been huge parts of this team all the 3 years that they've been on. Well, Kirsten Deneen's been on varsity for 3 years. Deanna, being a junior, only been on it for 2 years. They have been huge parts of this team, and they're a reason why this Pembroke team has a better record than, honestly, I think they should. They just have not looked like a great team almost every night, and I don't want to make any bad comparisons, but they're not as bad as the 2008 Charlotte Bobcats, but they're definitely a little bit above that group. Also for Pembroke, they haven't been able to capitalize on the opponent's mistakes. Sometimes, yes, they get the odd points off the turnover or make a huge defensive play that turns momentum. But they've never always been able to, I would say to be successful, you need to capitalize on 4 out of the 5 opponents' mistakes. Say a team has 10 mistakes in a game, you got to capitalize on 8 of them. Whether that be points or getting to the free throw line, you need to be able to work upon that and get as many points as you possibly can. And they just haven't been able to do that. Deanna Linscott has been the workhorse. She's literally done almost everything for this team. I'm pretty sure she leads the team in rebounds and assists. She's probably up there in points, but I think that belongs to Kirsten Deneen, but it could also very well belong to Deanna Linscott. And also, finally, they seem to get scared, whether it be at home or on the road, and you usually don't hear that from home teams. You'd think the home team would have the confidence to play the way that they want to play and not be intimidated by the other team that they are facing on their home court. But it turns out that this very young team, there's more sophomores and freshmen than there are juniors and seniors on the team. It shows that there is just I wouldn't say a lack of leadership, but there's just a lack of that cutting edge experience that helps a team go from being a middle-of-the-road team to being that team that can compete. And as I wrap up on Pembroke for the short time being, let's switch over to the other side of the court for the Middleborough Sackums. Coming out of a loss in their last game versus a very, very talented Notre Dame Academy by a score of 68-47, they showed a lot of what they could do. But again, once you face off a really good team such as Notre Dame Academy, it's really hard to play your way and play to the best of your ability. Some of their highlighting stats from the last game was that they shot 35% from the field, which is a little below average for them. They usually shoot around 42 to 45% a night. They shot above average from behind the arc, shooting 38% from the three-point line, and from the free throw lane, there we go, they were 64% on their free throws. As I have done for Pembroke, this 9-5 team, who is unbeaten in non-conference play, have 3 definitive keys that they need to do if they want to knock off the lowly but not walk-over threat of Pembroke. They are going to have to use their prior game against Notre Dame to build off of. Yes, they played a team that beat them by 21 points, but that shouldn't discourage them. Notre Dame Academy is one of the best teams in women's basketball in Massachusetts, and the fact that they were in it for most of the game except for just a collapse in the fourth quarter shows the amount of talent this team has. They're able to fight against the bigger teams, and there should be an easy game on paper for Middleborough against Pembroke, but you can't get too cocky, because cockiness is a huge problem, not only in women's basketball, but in any sport. Another one is that they need to capitalize on their free throws. Pembroke likes to commit a lot of fouls, and henceforth they like to, maybe hack a few times, get a few shooting fouls called against them, and that gives the opponent an opportunity to just expand the lead if they are already winning, or to get back in the game that they are winning. Also, for the last for Middleborough, because Pembroke is so aggressive both on offense and defense, Middleborough need to match that. Be aggressive themselves. Play attacking offense and attacking defense. Try to counter the aggressiveness and try to play it on skill alone, which, in my opinion, I think Middleborough have the better skill between the two teams. Not by much, but it's just enough to have me think that they'll eke out a victory away from home. Coming into this game, I believe Middleborough will have to rely on Riley Griffin, Shauna Gallagher, and Alex Williams. All of them are senior captains, and that might just be a little bit of a cop-out for me to say that their 3 best players, their 3 captains, should be the ones to lead them. But you can't really have a good game if your captains don't lead you. Obviously, you can rely on other players, such as junior guard Lila Petty or other senior Olivia Sacchetti, to lead them, but you really need your captains not only score, to assist, to rebound, to do everything, but you also need them to lead the team. They can't be reckless. They have to play the game they know they can play. On the other hand, for Pembroke, I'm going to go with something very similar. But instead of 3 captains, I'm only going to go with 2 and a player who hasn't got a lot of spotlight this year. For Pembroke, obviously they're going to be leaning on Kirsten Deneen and Deanna Linscott to lock up that front court, to get the rebounds, to get the points, to get everything going for this Pembroke team. But usually I would say they would have to rely on someone like Caroline Belasco or Kat Taylor when she comes off the bench. But tonight, I think it's going to be all about Ellie Tam. She's had a wonderful run these couple of games, hitting some big shots when she's needed, and she's been very good behind the arc for her last 3 games. And I think if she can keep that consistency, keep that integrity, keep that, just overall fire behind her game into this, I think Pembroke stand a real chance of getting a good win against a non-conference opponent. So those 3 players are huge for this Pembroke team. Ellie Tam has been the starter ever since day 1 as a freshman. That is something not to be too shabby about. I wish as a freshman I could say that I was a starter for the varsity team, but unfortunately, the teams here at Pembroke are very good in any sport you go into, so the fact that she made varsity as a freshman just shows her true ability, and she's definitely shown why she's on this team from the very first game of the year. Also for Pembroke, this isn't really a key, but it's just something that both teams should really take under, but for mostly Pembroke, just because your season is over doesn't mean you should stop trying. Just because the season is over doesn't mean that you should lose integrity. I know way too many people or way too many teams that would just give up because they have nothing to play for. That's not true. In every single game, you have to play for your pride. Pride is something huge, and you can take it wherever you go, whether it be on the court, in a different sport, or even at the grocery store. If you have pride, you can make yourself feel a lot better, and you can also play a lot better, not in just sports, but in just in the game of life. So I think pride is on the line for Pembroke. They have had a down season compared to the last 2 seasons of the program, but they shouldn't let one bad year really knock them down, because even though they won't play another game for over a year at this point, not over a year, just under a year, sorry, they're still going to look back at that final game, and that's probably what's going to dictate the next season. Not usually what happens, but it could happen with such a young core of players here for Pembroke. And with about a minute before we get the lineups all set, I want to just talk about Middleborough one more time. Some other players that they really should be relying on if Shauna Gallagher, Alex Williams, or Riley Griffin can't provide is junior Hannah Larson or senior Olivia Sacchetti. I talked about Sacchetti a little earlier. She's a forward who plays for this team, and she usually comes in for Shauna Gallagher if she ever needs a break. But she can also stretch the floor and play the 2 or 3 guard, which is very important in this day and age, with a lot of teams trying to play small ball, but also trying to have a big man incorporated into that, which kind of doesn't make sense at first. But if you were to watch basketball, or just watch any type of game, you'll understand that small ball is the way to go. It has revolutionized the game of basketball all the way from 4-year-olds playing in their backyard to at the NBA level. We've seen teams like the Golden State Warriors really revolutionize small ball when they have Klay Thompson, when they have Steph Curry, and so on and so forth on the court. It really gives them a second option because they can dominate down low, but they can also bang it from outside. And, I only have a few seconds before we get the lineup started. I'm going to make a prediction for this game. I usually don't do it, but it's the last game of the season, so why not? I think the Titans are going to have a wonderful game, but I do not think it's going to be enough to, knock off Middleborough here. I say Middleborough are going to win 42-37. I think Pembroke will always be in the game, but they'll just lack that last bit of energy and desperation. Maybe not desperation, but just energy to, fight back and get a win. But if they prove me wrong, so be it. 42-37 is my prediction for this game in favor of the Sachems. And as Pembroke goes through their team ritual warm-up speech, probably led by Deanna Lynn Scott and Kirsten Deneen, as they're still on the court, they start yelling at basketballs. Maybe that makes the ball, travel a little faster, travel a little lighter, and maybe helps them find the back of the hoop on more occasions than none. This is going to be a huge game in terms of how Middleborough are going to go into the playoffs. They've been able to clinch playoffs. They haven't been able to clinch their division because there are just some really good teams in the South Shore League, which is what Middleborough play in. But they'll be playing in the Massachusetts Division II Women's Playoff, which should be a huge accomplishment for this Middleborough team. They usually have a pretty good team, but they usually falter at the last hurdle. But this year they haven't. They've been able to stay steady, and they've been able to win the games that they needed to win. And now we are going to get ready for the starting lineups for the traveling Middleborough Sachems. Coming off the bench first is going to be freshman guard number 2, Sophia Moxley. Following up will be number 13, junior guard Lila Petty. Third off the bench, playing that small forward position, will be number 21, senior forward Olivia Sacchetti. Fourth off the bench will be number 22, senior captain Alex Williams. And rounding off the starting 5 is going to be number 30, senior guard Riley Griffin. And now the starting lineup for the Pembroke Titans, trying to round out their season with a victory against a really good team. First, coming off the bench, will be a player that I talked about a lot during pregame warmups, Ellie Tam, the freshman guard. Following up her will be the other freshman guard, and Caroline Velasco, wearing number 5. The first captain to come off the bench will be number 22, Deanna Lynn Scott, the junior. Next up will be one of the 3 seniors graduating. This is her last game, number 14, Emma Ledger. And rounding out the starting 5, going to Keene State, number 21, Kirsten Deneen. Emma Ledger and Kirsten Deneen playing in their final games of the season and of the career. And now we get ready to present this nation's anthem. edition of our nation's anthem. That was played by the Pembroke High School Band. If you're ever lonely on maybe not lonely, but just bored on a Friday night during the fall/late summer season, come down to Pembroke High School. Come watch the football and stay around for halftime, as you will be able to see one of the best bands, high school bands I should say, in the South Shore area. The Pembroke High School Marching Band is one of the best in its area, and it's always a treat to watch it. I played in the marching band for 4 years. I am a senior at PHS here, the home team, and I can tell you it's always a marvelous occurrence whenever you go and see them. But enough about football and marching band. We're about to get this game underway. For Pembroke, Kirsten Janine will be on the tip, and for Middleborough, they'll have number 21, Olivia Sarchetti, on. Sorry, number 22. I couldn't read the name. That is Alex Williams. And the tip will be won by Middleborough, and it will fall into the hands of Moxley, who's going to bring it out to the center and try to get this game off early. Moving over to the left side, floats it over for number 22, Williams, who floats it back to Moxley, fakes the pass, gets down to the elbow, and goes up for the underhand floater. I don't know if I call that a floater or a layup, but that was a really good start to this game. 2 points early on the board for the Sakums. Pembroke now starting with Ledger on the left side. Fakes the pass, holding it up, trying to get to Janine, but instead floats it out to Linscott. Linscott gets it down low for Janine, and she can't keep it in. A little too much air behind that pass as Janine is unable to control it, and Middleborough will resume with possession. Number 13, Lila Petty, bringing it up for the Sakums now. Middleborough like to run this super motion offense, trying to create as many chances as possible as Moxley picks it up, but gives it right back into the corner for Petty. It's up no good off the back iron and rebounded by Deanna Linscott, her first rebound of the night. Over to Deneen for the deep mid-range shot, no good. Rebounded by Moxley, getting heavily guarded by Ellie Tam, and that will end up being a blocking foul on Ellie Tam. That is the first personal, first team foul. Middleborough will resume possession right in front of their bench with Sophia Moxley, who's going to give it right off to Lila Petty, the junior guard. Petty and Moxley like to switch roles, either one playing point guard or shooting guard, as it's going to go back to Sarchetti. She can't get the shot off, but gives it right back to Alex Williams, who gets the ball tipped away, but she remains in possession of it. Drives inside down the right lane, shakes off, drives inside, layup no good. Rebounded by Kirsten Janine. Almost gets it stolen away, but Pembroke will hold on to possession. Caroline Belasco brings it across for the Titans now, trying to get something in motion. Cuts happening on left, right, and center. Ledger holding it up on the left side here. Ledger finally gets it away to Linscott, out to Belasco, floats it down low for Deneen. A nice little post play, and although no points will be scored initially, a foul will be on Sophia Moxley, a shooting foul. Kirsten Deneen will go up to the line for the first time tonight for Pembroke, as she will try to put the first points on the board for the Titans. First free throw is up and good, and Pembroke's officially on the board. 1 minute and 47 seconds have elapsed here. Score is 2-1 in favor of the Sakums. Second free throw is no good. That's going to be tipped away, but it's going to fall into the hands of Riley Griffin. Griffin driving inside, tries to pass it out to Moxley, and maybe she went to go see some new movies because she had a little bit of butter on her fingers from all the popcorn she was eating, and slips out of her hands. That's the first turnover for Middleborough. Score is 2-1 in favor of the Sakums. Belasco now with a spin move down to the left side. A switch for Middleborough. She tries to get something open. Pass is tipped, trying to find Linscott. She's getting quadruple teamed as her bounce pass out to Ledger will be intercepted by Moxley. She's going to bring it up herself, standing at the three-point line. Gives it off to Petty. Petty drives inside, but bounce passes it back to Moxley. The three is no good. Rebounded by Williams. Williams on the baseline floats it back. A nice little over-the-head pass. Mid-range shot no good, but the putback layup from Alex Williams is good and extends it to a three-point lead for the Sakums. Belasco trying to help Pembroke score their first basket of the night. Ledger on this left side. Hasn't taken a dribble all game, but gives it down to Linscott, who's going to drive inside. Left-hand layup, no good. Gets the putback layup, is also no good. Tam gets the rebound, gives it back to Deneen, who goes out for three, and it's no good off the front iron. Being tussled between Pembroke and Middleborough, and it's going to go off the hand of Deanna Linscott. It will be Middleborough ball. As I stated before the game, Middleborough come in after a loss against Notre Dame Academy. They lost by 21, but their shooting was something to behold. They were able to score a lot of points on a team in Notre Dame Academy that don't really give up a lot of points. It was the third most points they had given up in a game all season for Notre Dame, so that's an accolade surely to be worthy of for this Middleborough team. Williams drives inside on the right-hand side. She meets down low. She misses the layup, gets her own rebound, puts the put-back layup, and Tam gets the rebound and will try to bring it up, but she will be called for the double dribble, the second consecutive turnover for Pembroke. A lot of sloppy mistakes so far from Pembroke, and if they have any chance of keeping in contention with Middleborough, they're going to need to hunker down on their offensive possession, or else this game is going to quickly get out of hand. Number 30, that is Riley Griffin, goes off for the layup. It will be no good, banging off the front iron, and she will go up to the line for the first time tonight. The foul will be on Kirsten Deneen, the first personal, second team foul. Riley Griffin, who only had one appearance from the free throw line in their last game, went 1 for 2. Her first free throw is up and good. Swish. Perfect. Extends the lead out to 4 for the Sakums. The senior captain. Second free throw is good. 2 for 2. Already better than the other night against Notre Dame. As Pembroke will get it restarted. Caroline Belasco to bring it up for the Titans. Crosses the halfway line, floats it across to Linscott, who gives it down low to Deneen. Ball bouncing around down low, but it will go off the hands of Alex Williams. It will stay in Pembroke possession underneath the basket. Ellie Tam to inbound this for the Titans. A no-look pass, a little flashiness, maybe trying to think that she's Matthew Stafford. You watch the Super Bowl, that was a hell of a game. As Tam drives inside, shot is blocked and will be rebounded by Olivia Sacchetti. Sacchetti now slowing it down, gives it off to Williams. Williams moves out to the right side, but then floats it cross court to Moxley. Moxley out to Petty. Petty has the opening but can't get anything going. Gives it to Moxley, has the opening but doesn't go for it. Back into the corner for Sacchetti. Floats it down low for Petty. Her layup is going to be good right over the outstretched hands of Kirsten Deneen. And it's an early 7-point lead for the Sakums as they've dominated this game so far, not even allowing a normal basket for the Titans in over 4.5 minutes of play. Deanna Linscott getting double-teamed down low. A bad pass from Emma Ledger sees Middleborough bring it up. That is Williams going up for the layup on the baseline, but that will be no good. Rebounded by Deanna Linscott. Up to Ellie Tam. Tam trying to get something going. Move inside, and that will be the second foul committed by Middleborough tonight. Ellie Tam will step up to the line for her first time tonight. Tam, a player I talked about before the game a little bit, she is going to be key for this game. She's going to need to be able to shoot like she has in the last couple of games if Pembroke want to stand a chance in this game. 3 minutes and 18 seconds remain here in the first quarter as Tam's first free throw bangs off the side iron and will be no good. One substitution for Pembroke. Allie Dwyer will check in for senior Emma Ledger as she gets a few collapses. She steps off the court. Tam's second free throw is up, and it rolls around, and it does what we like to call a toilet bowl finish. Rolls around, but eventually falls in. 6 points, the deficit for the Titans as they trail the Sakums here. As Williams drives inside, floats it across from Moxley, fakes the three-point shot, gives it off to Sacchetti, gives it back, restarts possession. It's floated down low, bounced off the hands of Ellie Tam, and will stay in possession of Middleborough. 3 minutes and 1 second remaining here as the Sakums look to continue their dominant early game run. Inbounded quickly to Moxley in the corner. No good. Bounces in and out. Rebounded. Put back layup. No good. Rebounded by Deanna Linscott. Her third rebound of the night so far. Tam has the opening but floats it down low to Deneen. The shimmy and shake down low will be no good. Ball bouncing off the side iron and falling into the hands of Sophia Moxley, who gives it off to Petty, who's going to drive inside. No, she's going to call it a pass, but she gets it right back. Floats it back out to Moxley, gets the opening out wide to Sacchetti. Mid-range shot is up, no good off the front iron. Rebounded by Kirsten Deneen. And Pembroke are trying to capitalize off all of these missed shots, but they're not able to put a lot of points on the board. Deneen holding now, floats it out wide for Tam. Tam now down low, Linscott getting double teamed. Left hand layup, and there's the first real basket of the night. 2 points had been scored from the free throw line, but Deanna Linscott opens up her checking account and gets the first shot of the game to fall down for the Titans. They trail by 4 with 2 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Griffin gets a screen, drives inside, has the lane, and will get the basket. A nice pick and roll play without the roll. Trailing by 6 once again, the Titans, and Belasco gives it off to Tam, driving down the baseline. Right hand layup is no good, rolls off the front of the rim, and she's just trying to play as much defense as humanly possible right now. Moxley down low to Sacchetti. Shot will be no good, as it will be an on-the-floor foul. Kat Taylor looks to check in for the Titans. The foul is going to be on Kirsten Dean. A substitution from both sides. For Middleborough, Sacchetti checks off. His number 15, Finley Valensis, checks on. The sophomore forward checks in for the Sachems, as the three-point shot is no good. And instant impact, a rebound from Valensis, as she will dribble the ball out of bounds. Not a good start. I mean, she got a rebound, but then she committed a turnover. I'd say it's an indifferent start to the game for Valensis. Pembroke will restart the game. 1 minute and 16 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Dwyer brings it up for the Titans now, gives it off to Belasco on the left side. Belasco now trying to get down the baseline, gets the opening, puts up the floater, and it will be no good into the hands of Sophia Moxley, as Tam almost got another foul called against her. Held up in the corner by Griffin. Griffin gives it off to Sacchetti. Her shot will be no good, rebounded by Kat Taylor, and will be brought up by Belasco once again. Under 1 minute here. Tam in the corner, gets the opening, gets the shot, and she's got the three. 3 points for Ellie Tam, and that is the Ellie Tam that we've gotten used to over the past couple games, being a knockdown shooter from behind the arc. And with the shot clock and game clock being separated by 4 seconds, this is potentially the last possession for Middleborough so far. An open three, passed up, gone down to the elbow. Returns it back to Moxley. She's going to take the three off the front iron. Rebounded by Deanna Linscott, her 4th of just this quarter. 14 seconds here for the Titans, as they'll probably hold for the last shot. Belasco into the corner, moves back over to Tam. Tam floats it out to Linscott. Linscott in the corner, has the lane, drives inside, goes up for the shot, and will be fouled. That is the 3rd team foul on Middleborough, as Deanna Linscott will step up to the line for the first time tonight. Emma Ledger looks to check into the game for the Titans, following the first of 2 free throws. And the first one is knocked down. Deanna Linscott, the best free throw shooter on this team, showing why. She's usually knocked down from the free throw line, and she shows it every single game. Titans trail by 2 now, with just 4.7 seconds left to go, as Linscott goes through a routine for her second free throw. It's up, and it bounces off the front, bounces off the back, and eventually falls in. Emma Ledger will check in for Deanna Linscott. Linscott, the top scorer and top rebounder so far for the Titans, with 4 points and 4 rebounds. Will we see a last second shot here from Middleborough? It was attempted, but it was blocked by Allie Dwyer. 1 quarter of play underway, as the Titans trail by 1 against a very good Sachem side. Staying into this game with huge shots from Ellie Tam, and Deanna Linscott will return back for the second quarter of action with the Sachem's lead 10-9. welcome back after what seemed to be an extra long quarter intermission. Both coaches for Middleborough, that would be Jeff Powers, and for Pembroke, that would be Tim Lopes, trying to put some inspirational words into their teams to try and see who can get the upper hand heading into this second quarter of action. One substitution for the Titans as Kat Taylor checks into the game. Oh, Deanna Linscott also checks back into the game. She was on the court for almost the first full quarter, so I almost didn't realize that she got subbed off at the last second. Belasco to start it off for Titans as she switches over to the right side. Gives it off to Tam. Tam holding that, gives it down to Belasco. Her layup will be no good, and that's rebounded by Alex Williams. She's contending with Deanna Linscott for who can get the most rebounds tonight, as Williams still holding on to it. Excellent ball handling as she switches it over. Gives it off to Moxley. Moxley has the lane, but instead passes it back. A floater from the free throw line will be no good. Rebounded by Kat Taylor. Kat Taylor has been a very good addition to this varsity squad over the year. She's been on most of the time, and although she doesn't get many minutes, she very much uses those minutes. She uses those minutes to the very best of her ability, as she's really impressed everyone, and especially Tim Lopes, I suggest. As the bounce pass from Deanna Linscott to save it from being a jump ball will be a turnover, as the bounce pass ends up going out of bounds. Titans commit the first turnover of the second quarter. They still trail by 1 point, trailing to the Sakums. Lila Petty will get this restart of possession going as it's floated inside. An underhand layup as it's absolutely stuffed from Deanna Linscott, but Middleborough will hold on to the ball. Lila Petty restarting the possession for the Sakums. Gives it out to Moxley. Moxley now switches it over, gives it off to Griffin. Griffin finds Moxie. Moxie driving inside, and that will be stolen away. Ledger loses track of the ball, but holds on to it. Her pass to Kat Taylor will be tipped away. Brought up by Griffin. Can she go coast to coast? No, she can, as her layup hits off the front iron. Deanna Linscott getting her 5th rebound of the game. Looks to drive inside, but it will bounce off her foot. Visibly upset with that lack of, not lack of anything, but just the turnover, I should just say, in general. And an unfortunate mistake for Deanna Linscott, as she had basically a wide open lane heading down to the basket. But Middleborough to get it going. Lila Petty now off to Griffin, back to Petty. Petty almost a travel there, but holds on to it. Moxley now receives it, gets down to the elbow, floats it back out for Griffin. Her three-point shot is no good off the backboard. Rebounded by Deanna Linscott. Eventually falls into the hands of Kat Taylor, but she can't save it, as Allie Dwyer will check into the game for the Titans. She will be replacing Ellie Tam. Number 22, Alex Williams, will inbound this for the Sakums. Floated up for Petty, as she's somehow able to keep that in possession. Shot clock winding down. Back to Petty. Her shot no good off the backboard. Picked up by Kat Taylor, her 2nd rebound of the game. Belasco quickly up to Linscott, trying to make something happen for these Titans. Belasco's wide open behind the arc. She's got the shot, but she doesn't get the points, as Kat Taylor will win the jump ball, as there was no jump ball called. Kat Taylor goes down the baseline, goes for the finish, but can't get the layup to go. Score still remains at 10-9 as Middleborough charge up with Williams. She floats it back for Petty, who missed a 3-point shot. A deep mid-range shot there from Finley Valensis, as that shot's no good. Rebounded by Williams, and the layup is good, and she will have the attempt at an and one opportunity. The 4th foul for the Titans, as the foul will fall on number, I think the foul will go on Kat Taylor, her 1st personal of the game, but I could be wrong about that. Alex Williams stepping up to the charity stripe for the 2nd time tonight. Her and one opportunity is converted, and they have scored the 1st points of the quarter. 3 points in favor of the Sakums so far in this quarter, with just over 5 minutes left to go in the first half. Dwyer holding it up on the right side, floats it down low for Linscott, moves inside, goes up for the layup, and it's going to bounce in and out, but she gets her own rebound, showing the mental toughness and the grittiness to get the putback layup and get the and one opportunity. Can she copy what Alex Williams did on the other end? I guess would be so. She's shooting around 75% from the free throw line this year. She has been almost immaculate, basically, for high school levels. from the charity stripe. As Deanna Linscott looks to only make it a 1-point deficit here. Her free throw is no good off the side iron and will be rebounded by Middleborough. Alex Williams, the senior captain, bringing it up. She drives inside. No, gives it off to Moxley. Moxley at the elbow, floats it across for Petty. Petty has the lane. She has the shot and uses the backboard to her advantage. A 3-pointer for Middleborough as they extend their lead back to 5 points, 16-11, with 4.5 minutes left to go. Ledger couldn't get anything going. Floats it down low for Velasco. And a reverse layup attempt bounces off the hands of Kat Taylor. And another turnover for the Titans as Kirsten Deneen will check into the game for Kat Taylor. Kat Taylor, who's been very good off the bench in the 3 minutes that she's had, making a huge difference, slowing down Middleborough and ultimately trying to keep Pembroke in this game. And the first timeout of the game will be used. Middleborough will be the first to use it as Jeff Powers looks to get some things right with his team. 4 minutes and 20 seconds remain here in the first half. Sakeum's lead, 16-11. Welcome back after a short timeout break. If you would ask any person in Colorado what their favorite number is, it would be 420. I'm not going to go into the reason why. If you get the joke, you get the joke. And if you don't, you're probably too young to understand. And please do not look it up on the internet because what the actual joke is, it's not bad or anything, but it can lead to some problems later in life. I digress, as I probably shouldn't be talking about that. But the game gets underway with Middleborough kicking it off. Riley Griffin gives it off to Moxley. Floats it down low, eventually finds Leela Petty. Her three-pointer will be no good. The 6th rebound so far from Deanna Linscott. She's really doing a number on the backboard as Alex Williams strips Caroline Velasco. She tries to go coast to coast. She gets hacked on her way up. Allie Dwyer commits a foul. You know, I don't really believe that there's such a thing as a good foul in basketball, but if there was one, that would be it. Allie Dwyer commits her second offense of the night. As that is the first. I thought she committed one earlier. That's my apologies. Allie Dwyer going to stay in this game. As the first free throw will be no good from Williams. Substitution. Sorry, I got them mixed up. The substitution will see Allie Dwyer check out of the game and Ellie Tam check back in for the Titans. There's a lot of confusion over that scorer's table recently, and they don't make my job a lot easier. As one free throw knocked down by Alex Williams will see their lead extend back to 6. Just under 4 minutes left to go here in the first half of play. Velasco now switches out to the right side, gives it off to Tam. Tam trying to float it back, but couldn't find the opening. Trying to go down the baseline, can't find any. Pivoting around, floats it down low for Deanna, but that's going to be the 3rd steal of the game for Riley Griffin. She's really doing a number on defense as she's going to step back for 3. That 3 will bounce off the front of the rim and will go out. Pembroke will resume possession. Pembroke only able to muster 2 points in this entire quarter thanks to Deanna Linscott, while Middleborough have been able to rack on 7. And, you know, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out if that trend keeps going. It's not going to look very pretty for the Titans, as that is the 3rd consecutive turnover for the Titans, as Middleborough will bring it. Leela Petty with the layup will be blocked, but it was a block only because it was a foul. The 6th foul for the Titans tonight, as they are dangerously getting close to the 1-and-1 bonus area. Heading up to the line for the first time tonight will be Leela Petty. Her first free throw is good. Bounces off the side iron instead of bouncing out. Falls right down. Extends the lead to 7. Tied for the biggest lead of the game. And that free throw is no good, bouncing off the front iron. And a 7th rebound for Deanna Linscott so far, leading the charge on defense for the Titans. Spolasco has the lane, left-hand layup, and does not fall in. Unfortunate for the freshman. She had a wide open lane, but the ball did not decide to work in her favor. A pick here from Middleborough as Williams, guarded by Ledger, floats it across from Moxley. Moxley back out to Petty. Petty down low for Valensis. Valensis back out to Moxley, the deep mid-range shot off the side iron, and that's number 8 on the night for Deanna Linscott, quickly racking up the boards. Tam had the opening but couldn't get anything going. Tries to move down the baseline, getting double-teamed, floats it out to Kirsten Deneen. Deneen stops, gets it to Linscott on the elbow, but it's going to be picked away. The fourth turnover on 5 possessions for Pembroke, as a athletic layup was attempted, but it was not converted. Belasco driving inside, has a 3-on-2, goes up for the layup, but is going to be called for the charge. An interesting call from the referee, as I don't think the defender, I don't think she had a stout position that she could, effectively get the charge from, but I also think she was probably in the restricted area, which restricted area means you can't do that. A questionable call from the refs, but let's be honest, it wouldn't be high school sports if there wasn't a questionable decision from the refs, as Moxley gives it off to Riley Griffin. Returns it back to Sender. Gives it to Williams. Williams trying to drive inside, can't get the opening, floats it back to Valensis. Valensis back to Petty. Petty at the elbow, gives it off right back to Griffin, whose mid-range shot is not going to fall in. Kirsten Deneen with her 2nd rebound of the night gives it off to Allie Dwyer. 1 minute and 33 seconds left to go in the first half here for the Titans, as Dwyer drives inside, goes for the left-hand layup, and has a little too much power behind it as it bounces off the backboard and into the hands of the Sakums. Driving inside, passes it off to Griffin. Her shot is blocked as it falls to the ground. It ends up in the hands of Lila Petty, and she converts the short 10-foot shot. 20-11. Extends the lead out to 9, and it makes the biggest lead of the game so far for the Sakums. Out to Tam. She gets the opening. Can she get the shot? Yeah, she got the shot, but he couldn't get the points, as that will be the first jump ball of the night. If you were watching the girls' game the other day, you would know that that game had as many jump balls as I think there was points. I mean, it was insane. And it was a pretty high-scoring game, too. There was a lot of jump balls, and that being the first one of the game really surprises me. I would have expected about 17 before this point in time. I was only joking there, as I don't think there's ever been 17 jump balls in a single game, but the Sakums will capitalize on a lack of defensive effort from the Titans as they double the lead now, 22-11. Shot clock and game clock separated by 10 seconds. Tam holding it up in the corner. Gives it off to Deneen. Back to Tam, but she can't control it as it has a little too much power and was a little too far out in front of her. Kat Taylor checks in for the last 23 seconds for the Titans. She checks in for Kirsten Deneen, the senior. The senior's getting subbed off a lot today, and I was talking about that before the game. Pembroke just have a lack of, I didn't really go on about this, but I was inferring about it. They have a lack of drive, and it just seems like their seniors aren't showing up today. As the Sakums get play restarted, 10 seconds left to go. Floated out wide for Valensis at the elbow. Tries to give it off to Griffin, as they'll get a last-second shot. The mid-range will be no good. And after 2 quarters of play in 16 minutes, the Titans trail by as many points as they have scored. Sakums head into the halftime break, leading 22-11.
Your starters for the blue team, number 44, Ariana Pembroke. Number 22, Alan Muldoon. Number 34, Devin Brennan. Number 32, Ella Pembroke. Number 5, Riley McCaffrey. And number 10, Emily Resnick. For the white team, number 5, Lauren Lenaud. Number 15, Shane Muldoon. Number 54, Nora Ludlow. Number 20, Kendall McDevitt. And number 21, Tara McKinnon. Basket by Kendall McDevitt. Way to go, Kendall! White ball. Blue ball. White ball. Taylor Living. Taylor McKinnon. 10 seconds to play. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's hear it for the blue team and the white team.
Hello and welcome back to Pembroke High School, where the Titans currently trail by as many points as they have scored, losing to the Middleborough Sachems 22-11 as they come out of the halftime break trying to recuperate and rejuvenate as a team. Coming into this game, it is their final game of the season, and I was touching upon it a little earlier. They needed to show energy, they needed to show pride, and most of all, they just needed to have a game where they didn't look like they were being completely outmatched. And unfortunately, I think that's all happening. They're getting basically blown out by any way you look at it. They've just been overpowered the entire game. And in that second quarter, they only put 2 points on the board the entire quarter. Deanna Linscott's been doing everything for the Titans. And if Pembroke wants to do anything else, they're going to need someone else, their junior captain, to step up. As we get this game back underway with the Titans inbounding it, Velasco brings it across to the center, floats it down to Linscott at the elbow, gives it off to Ledger, holds it up, still hasn't taken a single dribble all game, tries to float it down to Linscott. That is her 4th turnover of the night. Picked up by Alex Williams. She has the opening, she's got the shot, but she's got no points to go with it. And it's going to be a wrestling move on the court as Deanna Linscott gets thrown to the ground. Possession arrow pointing in favor of the Sachems as they will hold possession underneath their own basket. A quick inbound pass to Leela Petty. Her 3 will be good, and the first points of the second half has been scored by Leela Petty, her second 3-pointer of the game, as not just her, but the entire Sachem team has been almost unstoppable behind the arc, as that is another turnover for the Titans. They are at 7 turnovers in this game, and no matter who you ask, that is way too many turnovers to even stay competitive against a team of your own caliber, let alone a team that is, I would say on paper, a little bit better, but in this game, a lot better than what Pembroke is normally accustomed to, as Deanna Linscott grabs her 9th rebound of the game, tries to bring up and get something going herself, gives it off to Velasco at the center of the court, trying to get possession restarted and underway. That was almost a travel there, as the fans of Middleborough and the coach was starting to appeal. Deanna Linscott drives inside, trying to do it herself. Right-hand layup, no good, bounces off the back iron, and will be rebounded by Lila Petty. Petty off to Sacchetti, down to Moxley, as it's going to be tipped away by Ledger, but Middleborough keep it hold. Griffin gets it down low, puts up the layup, but will go off the hands of Deanna Linscott and will remain in possession of Middleborough. 25-11 is the score as the Sachems lead by a game high 14. 6.5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. An inbound pass from Williams finds Griffin, but her shot is going to get blocked and it's going to go out on Pembroke once again. Middleborough to retain possession underneath the basket. A quick pass out to Moxley in the corner as Pembroke was caught asleep. And that's exactly what can happen if you leave Sophia Moxley in the corner. The freshman guard has been a killer all season for the Sachems, and she just always takes advantage of what the defense is given to her. 17 separates the Titans and the Sachems as Tam in the corner now drives down the baseline and gets the Tony Parker-esque floater to fall in. And, you know, this is a really sad stat to say, but the Titans have matched their point total from the second quarter already. Just 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Williams driving inside, gets fouled by Deanna Linscott. Little bit of a soft foul, but we've seen that on both sides. Soft fouls being called on both Middleborough and Pembroke. Foul is going to fall on Deanna Linscott. That's going to be her second personal first team foul of this half. She gets ready for her first free throw. Goes through the routine, bounces around a little bit. Does the Dougie, but eventually falls in. Sends the lead to 16 now, 29-13. Second free throw is up and good as they cannot crack the 30 mark. Rebounded by Sacchetti. Gives it off to Williams. She's going to drive inside. And that's going to be a charging foul on Williams as she falls to the ground in a little bit of dismay. She took a hard tumble on the floor, and she seems to be okay. She's walking with a little bit of a limp, but maybe it'll just go out with a little bit of time. Talking with her coach. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left. Titans trail by 16, and this is make or break for Pembroke. Final game of the season. They need to show some toughness now. Even if they don't end up with the win, they need to show that they have the capabilities to stay in a game, especially in a game like this. Floated down low to Deanna Linscott, and there was some ferocity behind that poke away from Sacchetti as it goes out on Middleborough, and Caroline Belasco will inbound it for Pembroke. Floats it off to Deneen. Deneen steps back. Deep mid-range shot will be no good off the back iron. The 10th rebound for Deanna Linscott, and add on another 2 points to her tally. That is her 6 points of the night. Close to getting a double-double. She leads Pembroke in double-doubles on the season with about, I believe, 6 or 7. I don't have the exact stat, but going off of what I remember, and before I can even finish my sentence, a 3-pointer from Leela Petty, her 3rd of the night, as she is the Steph Curry of this Middleborough team, just knocking down any 3-pointer she can get. Caroline Belasco floats it out to Tam. Tam now holding it up on the right side. Trying to make something happen, gives it off to Deneen. Deneen down low to Linscott, grabs, shoots, layup no good as Petty will get the rebound. She floats it for the deep mid-range shot, a high arc, but the shot no good. The 11th rebound from Deanna Linscott so far tonight. Belasco now gives it off to Tam. Tam holding it up in the corner, trying to find something. Moves over to her left, floats it out to Belasco, almost tipped away. Belasco gives it off to Ledger. Her shot is up and no good off the side iron. Rebounded by Riley Griffin. Griffin floats it up to Moxley. As it's an alley-oop attempt, and Kirsten Deneen read it like a book, as she's not able to keep it in, but it does stop the alley-oop attempt, and Middleborough will resume with the ball underneath the basket as the net has finally been fixed. Williams to inbound it. Trying to find someone. It's floated to the elbow. Drives inside. Gives it down low. Back to Williams. Right-handed layup is no good. Rebounded. Back to Williams. Can she do anything? Floats it out to Moxley. I think her foot was on the line there, but they are going to call that a 2-point shot. And it's a 20-point deficit for the Titans. And Tim Lopes is very frustrated. His team has just collapsed ever since coming out of the halftime break. 4 minutes and 5 seconds remain. Sagam's lead, 35-15. A quick timeout break has quickly elapsed here, as that's usually what happens with quick things. You know, the faster they move, the faster we get back to action. Personally, as a commentator, it's a lot better commentating over action over a vast nothingness, basically, that is timeouts. Pembroke will come out of this timeout trying to just get something from this game. I mean, they still have time to stage a major comeback, but if they're going to get it, they're going to have to start now. Belasco floats it down low for Deneen. Left-hand layup is going to fall in, and maybe that is the turning point for the Titans. Kirsten Deneen scores her first points of the night, opens up her checking account as it's now to 17. There was a slight change in the scoreboard, as I'll touch upon that, but that shouldn't matter, as Riley Griffin will extend it back to 20 with a 3-pointer from downtown. This team in Middleborough, I'm talking about, have been electric, unstoppable. And basically how they're doing behind the arc is unfathomable, as that could have been another steal for Williams. Belasco drives inside, left-hand layup, no good off the front iron. Williams driving inside, has the lane, goes over the layup, and it is just like Dikembe Mutombo back in the 1990s. A big block from Deanna Linscott as that gets sent back to earth. As 2 substitutions for Pembroke, Ali Dwyer and Kat Taylor check in for Caroline Belasco and senior Kirsten Deneen. Middleborough to inbound it, and it's gonna be a foul called on Pembroke. Let's wait and see who it's gonna be called on. It's gonna be called on number 2, Ellie Tam. That will be her. It'll be another foul named to her. Second team foul for the Titans. Sorry about the pause. First free throw is no good. Bounces in and out. Olivia Sacchetti making her second appearance at the line tonight. Was 2 for 2 in her first appearance, but now is 2 for 3 following her first free throw attempt, and now the second one upcoming. It's up, and it's good. 3 for 4 from the charity stripe tonight as the Sachems extend their lead to 21, 38-17. Dwyer moves out to the right side, and she's stripped away by Williams. She has an open lane, left-hand layup, and that's going to be a foul called on Kat Taylor. A very, very soft foul. She was just trailing behind her. Maybe the air of her running behind Williams was enough to call the foul, as I didn't see any contact. 40-17, Sachems lead, and it could be 41 if this free throw is made. Quick free throw must have slipped out of her hands as that was a little bit short, but hits off the rim. Linscott driving inside has the lane, right-hand layup underneath, but a little too much power on the finger roll as Middleborough will bring it up now. And Williams on the baseline will hold possession on the baseline. If we think back to my pre-game prediction, I would say that I'm probably going to be just a tad bit wrong tonight, as Middleborough are looking to get their 42nd or 43rd point, as that three-point shot is no good. The 13th rebound by Deanna Linscott tonight, a real force on the backboard. As she's giving off to Tam, the three is up, and it's good! Second three-pointer of the night for Ellie Tam, as she gets her 8th points of the night. 2 minutes remain here in the third quarter. 40-20, Sachems lead. A lot of movement happening on the court as Williams picks it up on the left side. Williams driving down to the elbow, steps back, gets the lane, right-hand layup, and it is up and good. And talking about pregame predictions, I said Middleborough would win 42-37. But I don't think that's really going to stand, as Middleborough have already got 42 points. And we have just over another quarter to play, and a and one opportunity for Ellie Tam. She's really in her bag right now. I talked about her before the game. She was going to be key if Pembroke were going to get something from this game, and she has shown up massively so far. She gets an and one opportunity and has a chance to put her name with double-digit points for one of the few times this season. Tam's lone free throw is going to hit off the back iron and be rebounded by Leela Petty. Petty out to Moxley. Moxley move over to the left with the screen. Gets off to Valensis, and that is a nice pick and roll play with an in-swinging player off the left side. Valensis gets her first points of the night. Open up her checking account. We got to get her down to Chase Banks so she can get a new card. As Allie Dwyer holds it up on the left side, gives it off to Tam, floats it quickly off to Belasco. Belasco now moving down towards the baseline, gets held up in the corner as her pass is going to be tipped away and picked off by Moxley. Moxley, who's been very good behind the line, can't get the shot off, gives it off to Williams. Williams floats it down low, a power pass will not find the hands of Valentis as she was the intended target, and Pembroke will resume possession. 44-22. Sachems lead as Kirsten Deneen will check into the game for what has undoubtedly been the player of the game so far in Deanna Linscott. Kirsten Deneen has not been able to really do much for the Titans so far, only amassing about 2 or 3 rebounds and only 2 points to her name. Tam holding it up in the corner. A screen from Belasco, a little bit of controversy as players were getting caught up, and that's going to be a violation from Ellie Tam. Just under 40 seconds here. 10 seconds, 9 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. So the game clock was started up a little slow. Valentis has a chance at more points, but her mid-range shot will be no good. Belasco holds it. The shot clock and game clock separated by under a second here. Dwyer down to Deneen, but that will be picked away by Middleborough. Lila Petty to hold it on for what could potentially be the last shot of the third quarter, and that's certainly what it looks like. Under 10 seconds here as it's tipped away by Tam, but Middleborough keep on to it. Alex Williams has the lane, drives inside, and folds inside, gets the foul. Can't get the layup, but will get 2 chances at the charity stripe to extend this lead to what could be an astronomical 24-point lead. Williams goes back to the line for the 3rd time tonight. And just like her last free throw, it bangs off the front rim and will be no good. Score remains 44-22. Williams now 3 for 5 from the line. Will make her second and become 4 for 6. And a last-second heave from Allie Dwyer will be blocked away by Riley Griffin. Add that to the stat sheet, as that one will count. 3 quarters of regulation have been played, and the Sachems have looked like the team that they've looked like all season, a dominating away lead so far, leading 45-22. Hello and welcome back to the gymnasium here at Pembroke High School as we look to finish off the final quarter regulation play between the Middleborough Sachems and the Pembroke Titans. 8 minutes on the clock as Middleborough finally make their way onto the court. During the quarter intermission, we were treated to 2019/2020 superstar Lil Nas X as his song with Jack Harlow played through the rafters here. We got the teenagers going. We got some weird looks from the parents, but you know, that's what you get with modern music. Not everyone's going to agree with it, but Titans will restart as Velasco tries to make quick work, as that's not going to be a shooting foul. That's going to be a foul on the floor, and that will see Pembroke restart possession from underneath their own basket. Trailing by 21, I think it's safe to say the Titans probably won't end up with a victory today, but if they can at least cut into this lead, maybe lose with a much more respectable deficit, I think they can have a, what they would say, an average season. Allie Dwyer to Kat Taylor. Taylor moves inside, floats it back to Tam, almost a travel. Tam goes inside, and she's going to be fouled as she goes up for the layup. She'll head back to the line for the 2nd time tonight. She was 1 for 1 on her and 1 opportunity, and will look to score the first points of this quarter for both teams. Deanna Linscott looks to check in for the Titans. Tam's first free throw of the 2 possibilities is going to fall in. 22 separate the Sachems and the Titans, 45-23. As Kat Taylor gets subbed off, a little bit of confusion between Kirsten Deneen and Kat Taylor. But the 2nd free throw from Ellie Tam upcoming now. It's up, and it's going to bounce off the back iron. Pembroke get the rebound. No, they won't. It's going to be a call to travel, so it's basically like Pembroke got the rebound. It was lost by Kirsten Deneen, but a lucky travel call was called as Pembroke will restart possession with Deanna Linscott inbounding it. Fake pass out to the right, fake pass to the left, eventually gives it off to Dwyer, to Tam, back to Linscott, tries to make a post move, and that could have been very nice, but the layup just a bit short. It bangs off the side iron. Williams to bring it up for the Sachems as Tam falls to the ground, and that's going to be a charging foul on the senior captain, Alex Williams. A little upset with that call, as I think any player would. It seemed to be a soft call, but as I've said multiple times tonight, these refs, they're actually calling something. I'd rather it be a soft call and have the game actually, seem like it's a normal basketball game than just have questionable calls the entire time. I will say these are the best refs we've had all year. Ellie Tam to hold it up in the corner for the Titans. Gives it off to Dwyer. The foul is going to be... sorry, I was distracted trying to figure out what just happened. Foul goes on Middleborough. I think it was a blocking foul. Not 100% sure. But the Titans will hold on to possession here. Dwyer down to Linscott, goes up for the shot, and that is probably, I would say, the worst call tonight. A no call on Deanna Linscott going up for the layup. But nonetheless, Middleborough will restart the game with possession just over 7 minutes here in the last quarter of regulation. Deanna Linscott gets her first steal of the game, and it's not going to be a steal and score, but she's going to get the rebound. Her layup is no good, bounces off the hand of Middleborough, falls into the hand of Caroline Belasco, and a jump ball. It will be called. Possession arrow still pointing in favor of the Titans, so no possession lost for the home team. Tam into the corner for Dwyer to Deneen. Deneen to Belasco, switched it right back out to Tam. She's got the opening, she's got the shot, but the 3 points will not go onto the board as it's rebounded by Lila Petty. Her shot is going to be good. An acrobatic shot and a little bit of contact added on to the pizzazz of that shot as the Sacoms extend to their biggest lead, 24-47 to 23. Tam holds it up in the corner now. Floats it off to Deneen, getting chased by Williams. Deneen floats it down low for Linscott. She gets 2 points on the board, and she gets an and one opportunity from the line. She'll be making her second appearance from the charity stripe tonight. 1 for 2 on her first attempt. As Emma Ledger will check in the game for Allie Dwyer. And a substitution for Middleborough will see Sophia Moxley check into the game. Linscott's lone free throw is going to bounce in and out, unlucky, as it's going to be a skirmish on the ground. 3 players go after it. And a timeout was called before the jump ball was called. So with just 6 minutes and 21 seconds left in the Pembroke Titans season, they look at a disappointing deficit, losing by 22 to Middleborough. And welcome back after a 30-second timeout there by Pembroke. The timeout was very tactical as they'll be able to hold on to possession underneath their own basket with Ellie Tam inbounding the ball for the Titans. It's just over 6 minutes left here in regulation as the Titans are looking at a looming deficit that they've been looking at for most of the game. Linscott receives the inbound pass, gives it off to Ledger at the top of the key. Gives it to Belasco, who's trying to float it across the Tam. She's got the opening, but doesn't take the shot. Got a little bit of separation, gives it off to Linscott. Gets it down low to Deneen, getting triple teamed down low. The layup is not going to fall in for the senior playing in her final game for high school. She and her sister, Kylie, will be both playing basketball at Keene State starting next year as the 3-point shot from Lila Petty will be no good. Belasco out to Tam. Tam holding it up, gives it back to Belasco. She had the opening, can't get the shot off. Drives inside, left-hand layup, no good. Rebounded by Sophia Moxley. Moxley now bringing it up for the Sacoms, against the Titans. Held up by Petty in the corner, gives it off to Williams, and that is a wide open lane down low. The spin move into the layup is gonna be no good. I thought that would have been out of bounds, but no. Williams holds it up in the corner. Moving inside on Tam. The turnaround. Ooh, a nice little move, but the layup will not go on with it as Linscott grabs another rebound tonight. Definitely close to 14 or 15. A bounce pass down to Kirsten Deneen. We'll see her add another 2 points to her tally tonight, making it 4 on the night for the senior. Floated back into the center of the court, but the pass from Riley Griffin to Lila Petty will be no good. A little bit of miscommunication as Pembroke will resume with the ball in the corner right in front of the Middleborough bench. Pembroke still trail by 20, as with just under 5 minutes left to go, it is unlikely that a miraculous comeback will happen. They're just playing for pride and trying to do as much as they can at this point. Linscott holds it up at the top of the key, gives it off to Deneen, who's going to put up a 3, and it's going to be no good off the side iron. Rebounded by Riley Griffin. Griffin tries to drive inside. That one almost looked like an up and down foul, but nothing going as Sacchetti picks it up, fakes the mid-range shot, gives it off to Sacchetti. Sacchetti back to player, sorry, I lost the player in translation. Held up in the corner by Williams. Williams back to Petty. Petty to Williams. The top of the key, puts up a deep 3, and it's banged in. Another 3-pointer from Alex Williams as she and Middleborough will crack the 50-point mark, leading by 23 over the Titans. It has been a day to forget for the Titans. And on the other hand, it's been a day to remember for Middleborough, as they've absolutely came out of the gates firing, and they've been doing it ever since. Triple substitution here with just over 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Substitutions include Caroline Velasco, Ellie Tam, and Deanna Linscott coming off as Allie Dwyer, Emma Baronis, and Kat Taylor come onto the court. 2 seniors and 3 freshmen on the court for Pembroke as Williams brings it up for Middleborough. Substitution looming for the Sakums. Williams to Petty. Petty's already hit 3 from behind the arc today, but she can't make it 4 as Baronis gets the rebound, her first of the night, making her first appearance coming off the bench. Gives it up to Deneen, and it's going to be a jump ball situation with the arrow pointing in favor of the Sakums. And speaking of the Sakums, they make a triple substitution of their own. Olivia Taylor, Paige Strong, and there's one more player. Oh, and Finley Valentis check in for the Sakums. Triple substitutions on both sides. Petty into the corner for Valentis. Valentis back to Moxley. Moxley back to Valentis. Has the chance. Tries to float it across, and it's going to end up being a jump ball situation. With the possession arrow now in favor of the Titans, they'll restart possession with just 3 minutes left to go in regulation. And unfortunately, with their season, Dwyer brings it up. Gives it off to Ledger. Ledger gets a screen from Taylor, who receives it. Floats it out to Dwyer, has the opening, can't get anything going. Gives it off to Taylor, drives inside, but will be fouled as she tried to move down in on her left hand, as the foul will fall on freshman guard Paige Strong. Paige Strong, a swing player between JV and varsity, has made a few appearances for the varsity Sakums team. Kat Taylor will step up to the charity stripe for her first time tonight, as the lone free throw will be no good as Pembroke is in the 1-on-1 bonus area. Lila Petty, the junior, the future of this team once all the senior captains retire and move on to college ball. Moxley into the corner for Valentis. Valentis tries to move it down low for Olivia Taylor, but Kat Taylor will bring it up, gives it off to Baronis, and that's going to be a turnover on Pembroke. But subsequently, Middleborough couldn't keep it in, so they turn it over as well, and Pembroke will hold possession under the baseline. And Emma Ledger will get a standing ovation coming off for the final time in her high school career. She will not be continuing her high school basketball career, as she will be going to either URI or Syracuse to go into their pharmacy program. And with Kirsten Deneen, her future's a little different. Her and her sister will both continue playing basketball at Keene State next year. And a substitution for Middleborough, Lila Petty checks off I'm sorry, I can't tell you who else checked in. I can't see the numbers at the moment. I apologize. Oh, number 53, Amanda Carden checks in, the sophomore forward. Shot is up, and it's going to be off the front iron. Rebounded by Paige Strong. But she can't control it, and Pembroke will hold possession in the corner. Dwyer to Baronis. Baronis out wide to Shelby Houghton. Houghton into Baronis, down to Taylor. Trying to make a move on the baseline, back to Baronis. Baronis on the left hand, puts up a shot. No good, rebounded by Olivia Taylor. And it's going to be a jump ball situation. The arrow pointing in favor of the Sachems. They will hold on to possession. Sachems will definitely go into the playoffs coming off a huge confidence booster. Basically running up the numbers against Pembroke as the score lands, or the score currently sits at 50-27 in favor of the Sachems. As the ball will be poked away and Kat Taylor will get a steal. She has a lane, she has the opening, and she can't get the layup to fall as it's a tussle down low. Now it looks like we're at a WWE match, but Moxley will bring it up, the freshman guard. She is going to be one of the leaders next year along with Lila Petty. It gives off to Olivia Taylor. Her mid-range shot will be no good. Rebounded by Valensis. She gets the rebound, brings it out to the corner, tries to float it back inside, picked off by Kat Taylor, but she'll be stripped away. And once again, she gets her third steal of the game. Baronis goes up for the layup, and she gets the points. Her first points of the night, under 1 minute, and a timeout taken by Pembroke, trying to get something going here in the last 57.6 seconds. Titans trail by 21 as they'll unfortunately lose on the night. And welcome back as we get to look at the final minute of the 2021-2022 basketball season here for the Pembroke Titans, as every senior that can play is back on the court, with Kirsten Deneen and Emma Ledger coming on to play their final minute of high school basketball. Also on the court for Pembroke, you'll see Ashlyn Gallagher, Allison Linscott, Deanna's little sister, and Emma Baronis. Olivia Taylor pulls up her three, and it's smacked away by Kirsten Deneen. Right back to Olivia Taylor, though, as that's going to be a hold on, I believe, Ashlyn Gallagher. And it will be on Ashlyn Gallagher. Her first foul of the night, 5th team foul. 41.5 seconds left. Moxley into Paige Strong. The freshman connecting on the inbound pass. Gives it into the corner, but picked off by Gallagher. Baronis gives it off to Ledger. The layup is up, and it's good! And Emma Ledger will score in the final 30 seconds of her high school career. You know, if you ask any player, they probably want to score in their last ever game. And she scored twice tonight. Has 4 points on the night, as the Sachems will still walk out of here with a victory on the road before their before the South Shore League playoffs, and maybe if they're good enough, the state playoffs. As the final seconds wind down here in Pembroke, Ashlyn Gallagher playing some aggressive defense, trying to show Coach Tim Lopes that she deserves a spot on next year's team. And as the final buzzer rings after 4 regulation periods, the Titans fall to the Sachems by a score of 50-31. But it is not in vain, as this has been a wonderful season commentating on girls basketball for you. I hope to see you on Tuesday, where the Pembroke men will face off in their final regular season game. Already being clinched as Patriot League champions, they'll face off against Scituate to make their record the best it possibly can be. This is the final broadcast of Pembroke girls varsity basketball. My name is Mitchell Porter, and to all of you listening, good night.